what are the environmental concerns with regard to semiconductor chip?
Do you think that Indian diplomacy has failed in Maldives?
Do you think there is any technical difference between the two terms, socialism and communism?
Do you think that somewhere in the name of feminism we are bringing too much of comparison between woman and a man?
Should the words secular and socialist be removed from the Constitution of India?
So, may I come in?
Yes, come in.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
ma'am.
Please
Good
be
afternoon,
seated.
sir. Thank you.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
So, my name is Hardik Chandel. I am from Vaishali in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. I have done my graduation in electronics and communication engineering from NIT Kurukshetra. And so, my hobbies are sketching portraits, watching tennis, following India-centric international relations. And sir, currently I am serving as a Dynamics probationer.
When did you join?
Sir, 26th of December 2023.
23. So, you have been undergoing training since December, you said.
Yes, sir.
Only 3 months you have spent.
Yes, sir.
How are you finding the training there?
It's pretty good, sir.
Do you want any changes in the training module?
No, sir. It has just been 3 months, so sir, I cannot suggest any further changes before, sir, completing my training, sir.
Okay. The government's focus is to shift from rule-based bureaucracy to role-based bureaucracy. You must have been taught in the training center also. How is it possible when precisely in view of the fact that you have so many rule books to follow, so many codal provisions are there which need to be adhered to? So how this switch over from rule-based to role-based working is feasible?
Sir, the currently administration has become very complex. So the civil servants often have to adapt according to ground conditions. So sir, there is discretion while some sort of discretion while implementing the rules as well. So civil services always have to be innovative, they have to be agile, and they have to be willing to learn and adapt to the requirements of the working. So sir, with that aspect, I think that rule-based bureaucracy is needed.
Hardik, tell me, you have so many hawkish agencies looking at you. There is the CBI, there is the CVC, there is audit, your own internal vigilance also.
Yes, sir.
Don't you think that the role of these agencies, unless and until is minimized, it's very difficult for any bureaucrat to exercise any amount of discretion while taking a decision?
So the role of agencies is to ensure that the decisions are taken in a non-corrupt manner. But sir, I think that if we work with good intentions, then sir, honest mistakes, sir, are possible, but sir, they can be, sir, justified. However, sir, if there is some other intention, then sir, the people will obviously be caught. But sir, I feel that if we do our work with the right intentions and according to the rule book, then sir, I think that there is no need to fear.
Tell me, bureaucracy, Indian bureaucracy is one of the perception against the Indian bureaucracy is this is also a corrupt. Besides being very slow in delivery and all, so its system per se is corrupt. Suppose now you are a part of the Indian bureaucracy, how are you going to remove this perception and what concrete measures will you take to at least minimize corruption, if not eliminate it altogether?
Sir, transparency in my functioning has to be there. For example, if any step I am taking, then it has to be recorded. And sir, in terms of my action, sir, if it is delegated, then e-governance can also take place because it also ensures accountability as well. And sir, there should be a strict sense of integrity in terms of anything that I am doing. So sir, I think that minimizing discretion, increasing transparency and accountability are the steps to, sir, ensure that any sort of corruption does not take place.
Recently, the Supreme Court has given a verdict on cash for vote.
Yes, sir.
So, what are the basic judgment of the Supreme Court?
Sir, Supreme Court overturned its 1998 decision that earlier, even if the MPs or the MLA took bribe and decided to vote upon the bribe, then sir, they were protected under Article 105 for MPs and 194 for MLAs under parliamentary privileges. Like those articles, sir, protect them, protect any sort of speech or action that they take within the parliament. But sir, now Supreme Court says that this is against the right to equality, and sir, it puts them on under more scrutiny while giving a vote. So sir, this will ensure that the cash for vote does not take place, sir.
Talking about the delimitation exercise, you know what is going to be the fallout of the delimitation exercise. Southern Railways are also against this. So how to have a win-win situation so that to keep southern states also happy?
So delimitation is necessary because we have come a long way since 1971 and population ratios have changed. But sir, they are fearful that their number of seat sharing would reduce. So sir, we can give certain criteria to the present population and certain criteria to the 1971 as the 15th Finance Commission tried to achieve. So sir, there has to be certain balance, and sir, it has to be consultative approach including all the stakeholders.
Thank you very much.
Hardik, as you're taking training in Delhi, can you tell us how many revenue districts we have in Delhi and how many police districts are there?
Sir, if I'm not wrong, sir, 11 revenue districts are there. And sir, with respect to police districts, I'm not sure.
And these districts are subdivided into subdivisions. Okay. So we have subdivisions also in Delhi?
Sorry sir, I'm not exactly aware of it.
Do we also have developmental blocks, which are units of subdivision?
Sir, I'll have to read more on this.
Okay, fine. And as you take interest in reading about India's international relation, so what is the irritant nowadays? What is the issue between India and Myanmar?
Sir, in 2021, a coup took place in Myanmar, and sir, the army took control. But sir, presently there is fighting between the rebellious groups and the army. So sir, there are law and order situations due to which the army people or the insurgents are spilling over to the border Indian states. So sir, we are facing internal security troubles in states like Manipur, and sir, there are some issues on Myanmar and other states as well. So we are trying to fence the border, and sir, we are also contemplating to end the free movement regime.
The legislature of Nagaland and legislature of Mizoram both have passed resolution requesting the central government not to fence the border. What is their argument and concern?
Sir, they say that the boundaries were drawn during the colonial times, and the people of Nagaland and Mizoram enjoy familiar ties with people across the border as well. So they say that if the border is strictly fenced, then their familiar linkages would be broken. So they are against this.
So with how many countries we are having fenced border?
Sir, with Pakistan we are having, with Bangladesh. Sir.
And which organization is responsible to guard the Indo-Myanmar border?
Sir, Assam Rifles.
And what is the length of this border?
Sir, around 1500 kilometers.
A little more than 1600. Okay, so is there some religious angle? Is there the ground level some groups in Myanmar are having affinity to one religion, and the military government there is having different religious outlook?
Sir, I'm not exactly sure, but the army adheres to the Buddhism. But sir, the other rebellion groups adhere more to the tribal religion or to Christianity.
Christianity, most of them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So in this condition, if we fence the border, it will be indirectly helpful for the military regime or the revolutionary groups?
Sir, it will be helpful for the military regime.
So indirectly we are cooperating with the government of Myanmar.
Sir, our intention is not to cooperate with the rebels or with the Myanmarese government. Our intention is to fence our border so that there is no internal security situation inside our territory.
Okay. And do you think that Indian diplomacy has failed in Maldives?
No, sir, I don't think so, because sir,
or the Chinese diplomacy is more successful?
Sir, any change in political class over there is not in our hands. We can only continue with our developmental efforts. And sir, it is natural for smaller countries in our neighborhood to hedge between India and China. So sir, the current president is tilting more towards China, which has more deeper pockets, and sir, does not have to do anything with the ideology. They can just come in and plug and play the huge amount of cash that they have. But sir,
under Gujarat doctrine, we utilize our home market to better relationship with our neighboring countries by opening our market for the products of neighboring countries under SAPTA and under SAFTA.
Yes, sir.
Why is the government less enthusiastic today in enforcement of SAFTA?
Sir, there are certain issues with respect to SAFTA. Sir, one is that the kind of goods that we are producing we are producing, our neighbors are producing, they are, sir, complementary. Like they are not complementary, sir, they are similar kind of products. So, sir, there is often competition with respect to them, and because India has better manufacturing capabilities, sir, we are winning. Also, sir, SAFTA has not come to fruition because of India-Pakistan dispute. Sir, due to that relation, sir, due to that reason, sir, the entire SAARC has already, sir, frozen. So, sir,
but that is perhaps a diplomatic mistake on the part of Government of India. This is why we are making our neighbors more and more dependent on other countries.
No, sir, I feel that we have given Pakistan enough chances, and sir, they have.
Of course, Pakistan is fine, but why we are isolating Nepal and Bhutan and Bangladesh and Maldives and Sri Lanka?
Sir, we haven't isolated them, we have just shifted towards BIMSTEC, and sir, we are engaging them on other platforms. And sir, our bilateral relationship with them is also pretty good. And sir, we are continuing with our Gujarat doctrine and neighborhood doctrine with respect to them as well.
Okay. My last question, Hardik. As you are born in Delhi,
Yes, sir.
you studied in a school in Ghaziabad, and your parents come from Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
But you have claimed that you are a domicile of Haryana. How come?
Sir, I have done my graduation in Haryana for 4 years. So, sir,
As a student of political science, how do you define domicile?
Sir, where we have spent more than 6 months at a place, then sir, it can be considered as a domicile.
Have you claimed officially that you are a domicile of Haryana?
No, sir, but I spent more than 4 years over there, so that is why I have.
Only spending time is enough condition, or some registration is also required?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Hardik, you have political science as your optional subject, right? Can you please tell me in terms of or in context of parliamentary proceedings, when we say the bill has been passed by a voice vote, what does that mean?
Sir, there has to be voting with respect to any bill that has to be passed. So, sir, the chairman takes the opinion of the members present there. So, sir, if there is outright majority in favor of the bill, so he first asks that the members in favor of the bill can say aye, and others in favor of no. Others not in favor can say no. So, sir, if there is clearly the majority is in favor, then, sir, it can be said that the bill has been passed by voice vote only. So,
is the voting in that context recorded, or it is simply the discretion of the presiding officer decides on the decibel of the people who are saying either in favor of the bill or against the bill, that he takes a call whether this bill qualifies to be passed or not passed, whether it has the consent of the members or otherwise? What is the mechanism?
Sir, it is recorded, but sir, if the chairman is clear that there is quite a number of difference between those saying yes and no, then, sir, he can say that it is passed by, sir, the vote.
Okay. Vote. Okay. So, since there has been vacancy in Rajya Sabha, elections are going on, to fill up the vacancies in Rajya Sabha. The system for Rajya Sabha is the seats are allocated to different states in terms of proportion of population, right?
Sir.
So the states which are having large population are given larger representation.
Yes,
so don't you think this is a disincentive for those states which are strictly following the population control measures? I mean, following population control measures, their population will come down, and accordingly their representation in the House of Elders will go down. So do you think this particular thing is in sync with the idea?
Sir, for many years we froze a representation with respect to the 1971 census, and sir, it has been delayed till 2026. So after that, there has to be some consideration and deliberation with the southern states as well. And sir, as sir asked, sir, I feel that there has to be mix of the current, the ratio has to be mix of the current scenario and the 1971 level.
Okay. Since you have studied political science, let me dissolve my personal doubt. Rudimentary understanding of Marxism suggests that this communism and socialism both are same thing. As a subject expert, do you think there is any technical difference between the two terms, socialism and communism?
Sir, socialism is a transitory phase, and communism is the ultimate stage where the private property would be abolished. So, sir, socialism is a time where the larger section of the society, that is the proletariats, those are the workers, they will be the decision-making body, and sir, the decisions would be implemented on the bourgeois class and for other sections of the society. But sir, communism is one where private property and classes end. So there has to be collective decision-making. So sir, while we are Marx argues for overthrow of capitalism. So sir, after capitalism, socialism comes, and sir, after socialism, communism comes.
So based on your understanding of the concept, do you think that communism is a philosophical idea it is an idealistic stage, whereas socialism is something that can be achieved during the process.
Yes, sir. I feel that communism is a utopian idea, and sir, it has nowhere been fully achieved in the history as well. Because, sir, after socialism has been achieved, the power is mostly concentrated in the hands of few people, and because they have vested interests, the complete transition of power does not take place.
Okay, one hypothetical question from my side. One case is pending, I mean the matter is sub judice pending before the division bench of High Court of Delhi. The matter pertains to a question of law with regard to interpretation of the constitution. Can the division bench of High Court decide on the merit of the case? Does it have the locus standi to decide the merit of the case as it pertains to interpretation of the constitution?
Sir, I'm not exactly sure about this.
Okay, now, what is the strength of constitution bench of Supreme Court?
Sir, minimum of 5 members.
If the 5-member constitution bench has decided on any subject with regard to interpretation of the constitution, is there any possibility that the same decision can be appealed against? If yes, with which bench, and what will be the composition of that bench in terms of number?
Yes, sir, it can be appealed, and it can be appealed towards the larger bench. For example, if the decision was given by 5-judge bench, then only 7-judge bench or more number.
My last question to you, all decisions of lower courts, including the high courts of India, can be appealed by way of a special leave petition.
Yes, sir.
Is there any exception that certain judgments delivered by certain courts or tribunals as such, this decision cannot be appealed under a special leave petition of 136 of Indian Constitution?
So the military courts, their decisions cannot be appealed.
Okay. And special courts have been constituted to decide any set of issue, can that decision also be appealed in Supreme Court?
Sir, I'm not sure about this.
Hardik, what do you understand by men's right and women's right?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm not.
What are your rights?
Ma'am, rights are claims over something. Like any state or society has to give people certain rights so that they can live a dignified life. So my claim over something is my right.
What do you understand by women's right?
Women's right can be certain rights over their body or over their lives, which helps them to live a dignified life. I'm not really sure about this.
Do you think that somewhere in the name of feminism we are bringing too much of comparison between woman and a man?
No, ma'am. I think that feminism stands for equality of women, equality of rights and opportunities for men and women, and it's not about comparison. The comparison emanates because in our society the women have traditionally been seen as inferior to men. But because they are voicing their demands and rights more, so it might feel that way.
So that means the rights to men have been guaranteed right from the beginning, and certain rights have not been given to women. So that is why they are voicing for their rights.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree to it?
Yes, ma'am.
There are no infringement of rights as for men.
Ma'am, there are, but
Such
comparatively.
As?
Ma'am, explicitly, like there are certain restrictions on men as well. For example, if someone wants to become a chef, I guess, then he might feel some resistance from his family members. Or if someone wants to choose a profession where he or she is not seen as like ideal in the society, then they face resistance.
Can you cry openly?
Ma'am, depends.
Can a woman cry openly?
Ma'am, that also depends. Like what is the context and what is the person going through.
Okay. Hardik, when we see our society, as it's largely divided on the basis of class. I'm not talking about caste, right? On the economic basis if we talk, right? So there have been upper class, lower class, middle class, lower middle class, right? And there has been quite a divide between rich and the poor, right? And we all know that there is inequality, but there is yet another understanding of ultra rich. So why this is happening, in our country, in our society, that the rise of ultra rich is getting higher and the poor among the poorest is again high in our society. What could be done to bridge such divide?
Ma'am, the ultra rich mostly come from the business backgrounds or those who have inherited a certain portion of wealth, while the poor or the middle class are often salaried employees which have only a particular bandwidth of salaries. So it is difficult for them to rise. And ma'am, the country has taken several steps in that regard as well. For example, we started with land reforms, then we did bank nationalization, we abolished the privy purses, and currently we are taxing the ultra rich are also taxed very high, and we are giving subsidies to the poor. We are creating job opportunities in the manufacturing sector for them, and we are creating opportunities for the foreign direct investments to come, so that specialization, managerial specialization, and job opportunities are there. So I think we are taking several steps, and because we are a free society, and we are also giving freedom, ease of doing business as well. So we cannot stop someone's growth. We can only provide a similar equality of opportunity for all to grow.
Why are the startups failing after a period of 3 or 4 years maybe?
Ma'am, it is quite natural that startups are linked with risk, and 90% of the startups fail naturally. But after the COVID pandemic, a bubble was created because a lot of funding was there for the startups during the COVID pandemic. But after that, maybe due to the corporate governance that was not right in terms of certain startups like the Byju's, or overestimation of the market, or due to the shortage of funds across the world, there is a lack of funding for new startups as well. So there are different reasons for different startups that are failing.
What do you understand by women-led development?
Ma'am, women-led development is one where women not only lead a certain social change, but they are also the benefactors of that change. They have access to resources, they have control over their own lives, and they feel empowered to bring some change in the society. So it's a very holistic term. Your
hobby is sketching human portraits. What is its uses in bureaucracy especially?
Ma'am, in terms of my official capacity, sketching can be used to send a signal to wider sections of the society. Like many people may not be able to read or write a certain language, but they are all often attracted by sketches or paintings. And ma'am, in my personal capacity, it often helps me relax, or it often helps me to get a perspective that whatever might be the different ways I take to make a sketch, but the end result is what that is important.
Give me one issue which you would like to highlight through your sketches.
Ma'am, I think the importance of sports in our society is quite underrated. So I feel that the sports person in our country needs to be lionized, and they need to be made popular. So sketches or portraits of famous sports personality and 2 or 3 lines about them can increase awareness about the sports persons in our country.
Okay. Thank you, Hardik.
Hardik, what is a welfare state?
So welfare state is one which takes care of its people and their aspirations. And sir, the state is involved in the distribution of public goods like education, healthcare, and to provide a decent level of living to all.
Okay. Can you think of some of the social indicators that can be used to differentiate a welfare state from a police state? These indicators from a citizen's perspective.
So one can be the happiness index. Like the police state can only ensure the security but not the prosperity or the well-being of the people. Sir, another one can be sir the human development index, where the education, health standards and life expectancy is also measured. Then sir, the gender disparity index can also be one criteria, because police state is overly concerned about its own increase in tenure and not about a particular gender or something like that.
Okay, I'll give you a scenario. If a particular country is steadily increasing its defense and internal security expenditure, can it be seen as a move towards inclination towards a police state?
No sir, it is not necessary, because our increase in the defense budget can also depend upon internal security challenges, for example from the insurgents or the Maoists or sir, something like that. And sir, with for example sir, currently in Europe as well, because the external environment is such that countries like Germany are increasing their defense budget by more than $100 billion due to threat from Russia. So they are also doing that. So because only when the borders are secure and people are assured of growth in the future, prosperity will be there.
What is a deep state?
Sir, deep state is one where non-elected people have control over the institutions and the way in which the government runs, and sir, they are often behind the facade of a representative government. For example, sir, the Pakistan army is called as a deep state.
Hardik, we have seen a lot of debate and discussion around the restrictions imposed on entry to certain temples. So what is your restricted entry to certain temples?
Okay,
so according to you, should temples be made open to everyone, or should they be allowed to decide on the eligibility criteria for who can enter and who cannot enter the temples?
Sir, while law can suggest a top-down approach with regard to a step, but sir, people can accept it only when there is a consensus amongst them. And sir, every temple represents certain customs, traditions of the people. And sir, if it is imposed, then it will only allow protests and sir, restrictions on. So I think that whatever decision is taken, there must be consensus amongst the local people that their views and opinions are also taken into account while allowing entry or not allowing entry. So
consider a scenario that a particular temple or a religious institution subscribes to a particular ideology which restricts people from certain community or maybe a certain gender from entering the temple. So which should be given primacy? The right of those individuals who are not being allowed to enter the temple, or the right of the religious institutions?
So the Supreme Court has said that not allowing a particular section to enter a temple can be a form of untouchability. So Supreme Court has allowed entry of women into the Sabrimala. But sir, still the people over there are not acceptive of that, because Sabrimala also has certain historical connotation for the local people. So I think that until and unless there is an informed discussion and debate amongst the local people, then the situation on the ground is difficult to change.
Okay, Hardik, my final question to you. Should the words secular and socialist be removed from the Constitution of India?
No, sir, I don't feel so, because, sir, we are a secular country, and, sir, we give equal respect and support to all.
We already have provisions related to religious freedom under fundamental rights. What difference will it make if we remove the word secular from the Constitution?
Sir, there has to be, sir, explicit understanding that we are a secular and a socialist country, because, sir, at the end, the steps that we take are driven by the ideals like socialist, secular and sovereign, and the other ideas that are given in the preamble. And sir, because the preamble is a summary or the identity card of the Constitution, so I feel that there cannot be a difference between what is under the Constitution and what is represented in the preamble.
Thank you.
Hardik, as we all know, India has been trying to become a global hub for semiconductors in terms of its design, manufacturing or technology development. So what steps the government has taken so far in this direction?
So under the PLI scheme, we are providing design-linked incentive scheme, where we are providing 50% of the capital outlay for any company that wants to establish a semiconductor hub here. And sir, there are several other schemes like SPECS, that is scheme for promotion of electronic components and semiconductors. There are also electronic manufacturing clusters as well. So sir, along with these, sir, we are also given support to the startups that are coming across in this sector.
What is DLI? You spoke about PLI. What is DLI?
So it is PLI is in 14 sectors. So DLI is specifically with respect to the electronic sector, and sir, it stands for Design Linked Incentive Scheme.
Okay. What are the environmental concerns with regard to semiconductor chip?
Sir, it requires uninterrupted supply of water and power. So there has to be a consideration where the fabrication plants are being set up. That is one. And sir, also with respect to disposal, there has to be detailed study of the post usage life of the semiconductors, and they do not cause any harm to the environment due to leakage or seepage into water.
Okay, thank you very much, Hardik. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sit down, Hardik.
Thank you, sir.
When is your interview, Hardik?
Sir, 19th March.
19th March. Okay. And which attempt is this?
So 4th attempt, 3rd interview.
4th attempt and 3rd interview. Okay. And you got selected in 22. What was your marks in 22?
So 173.
173. And prior to that?
So 187.
And this is the third one?
Yes, sir.
Why 187 to 173?
So last year the interview was quite random and not based on DAF. And sir, it was only on the second day, so I was not prepared for the random questions.
It's very difficult to say what way interview will go. Nobody can predict about that. It may be 100% based on your DAF. It may again be quite random also.
Yes.
But you see, you are a student of political science and you are already a civil servant now. So probably some questions relating to your area of work, because although you have only undergone training for the last 3 months only,
Yes, sir.
so it's very difficult for you to get a feel of the civil services. But still, you can't stop members from asking questions. So your training module and issues where you can suggest anything. Of course, your answer was very genuine and honest, that you have only 3 months into service, so you are not in a position to give any suggestions at this stage. But something regarding working of functioning of the government will definitely be there. What way the questions will be asked, very difficult, but then generally perception of corruption, red tapeism, government being slow in its delivery and all that. So, and your ideas, basically just to elicit your opinion for what is going to be your thought process to address these concerns and all that. Nothing else. That is the only purpose. The political science is your subject. Constitution, we tried to ask you a few questions. So read, update your information about whatever the constitutional developments have taken place, not only in the context of present day India, but also in the larger context of abrogation of Article 370 and all that, and the few judgments which have been delivered by the Supreme Court, 10 major judgments, and its implications arising out of the Constitution. That is very important. So I will not go into all those details. That is, and then our international relationship with, particularly with the neighboring countries, and elections are happening in many countries and all that. Then your neighboring countries, I have told you. Then elections are likely to take place in the USA also. The US election is also very important. I mean, you try to follow it also, how these two Republican and Democrat parties, they select their candidates and all that, and then the whole process leading to the final voting and all that, that should be known to you. Then presidential form of government, our own democratic form of government through the Prime Minister, which will you support, why will you support, and all that. Rule and role, I have already asked you. Delhi, you are from Delhi. Delhi, again, as a student of political science, issues between the government of Delhi and the central government.
Yes, sir.
All those issues which have happened in the recent past, 4 or 5 issues are there, and the intervention of Supreme Court, and those should be known to you very clearly.
Okay, sir.
Then about you are a student of electronics. So how government is trying to push electronic sector in the country, and you spoke about the clusters and all that. So what is the concept of ESDM, EMC, and modified special incentive package is also there. So what is that progress? There is an electronic development fund also. What is the purpose of that fund? So the policy of Make in India 2016 and the electronic policy was also envisaged in that. Just a cursory glance of that, and semiconductor is an important issue. What are the issues with the environmental issue is one issue, but what are the issues, supply chain arrangements and all that, demand supply theory, all those issues are there regarding this. And then there is a network readiness index also. I don't know whether you are aware of that or not.
Which one?
Network readiness index is related to your area of this thing only. Go back and read about that. Where does India stand as per the latest ranking, and what are the parameters there? In some areas we have been doing very well, and some areas a lot of things are required to be done. Then you are a boy from UP. Lot of questions on UP will be there. So it's a huge range of questions. I am not going to list those questions, but UP should prepare thoroughly. Particularly the development of your defense industrial corridors and all that. Why there is a need for that, and what is the present status of that. And River Ganga always is an issue. So pollution in river Ganga, or what is the Namami Gange project and all that. Then you are from Ghaziabad. If you may be asked to compare the two districts of Ghaziabad with your neighboring district of Gautam Buddha Nagar, that is also why Gautam Buddha Nagar is Ghaziabad is not as developed as Gautam Buddha Nagar, and these two districts' contribution to the GSDP of Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
That is also important. And then about Uttar Pradesh, I have already told you what all initiatives have been taken by the government of Uttar Pradesh so as to give it a thrust on the economic front, how it is, trajectory is really going up and all that. So what are the reasons for that investment and all, in which areas investments are taking place? So an international airport is coming up in Jewar.
Yes, sir.
What is the PPP model on which this airport is getting constructed and all? Those are general areas which you should cover. And you have already secured 187. You are capable of securing 187, 190. Absolutely no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Just keep your head on your shoulder and maintain your integrity, absolute integrity and honesty of purpose while giving answers.
Yes.
And try to give very crisp answers. Okay, once you are able to catch the central theme of the question, you will be able to give a crisp answer.
Okay, sir.
And don't be argumentative. You are not argumentative today, but don't ever try to be argumentative with the board. And you will do well. All the best to you. If you have any specific question in your mind,
No, sir. Thank you.
all the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.